Hey yo, what up, chums? Rest in peace, Big Dave. Who wrote games and CD Projekt Red deserve all the praise for this one. They did their thing, man. This collaboration was nothing short of amazing. I thoroughly enjoyed this experience. And in this video, we're talking all about it. Also, did you guys enjoy it just as much as I did? Let me know in the comments, man. I want to hear from y'all. Also, I know I can't be the only one who enjoys Night City so much that they wish it was larger. In fact, I kind of don't want to finish exploring Night City because I don't want this experience to be over. I want to savor it and I want to save it, but I know I can't. I know there's not going to be more. What about you guys? Are you guys savoring your completion of Night City? Before we get too deep into this, I gotta say it, man. Spoilers, duh. Because I know y'all in the comments are not gonna let it go if I don't say it. There were several things that stood out to me during this collab quest and just the collab in general, man, that was really cool. One of those things is the fact that I was right. I said this like way back, way back in like patch 1.4 or something like that. And basically what I was saying was that somewhere and the elusive realm creates the perfect environment and the perfect lore to have any type of crossover. And yeah, I was proven right. Also, shout out to whoever that was that left a comment recently on an old video pointing out this fact. But yeah, man, we talked about this in my Discord. By the way, hey, join the Discord, man. We talk about lore stuff over there sometimes and we just hang out. But anyway, we talked about it over there when they did announce the crossover and they asked, how do you think they'll implement this crossover? And I was like, there's a few different ways, but one of the ways I think they would probably implement it would be through Sumnor. And it looks like that's exactly what happened. But I want to talk about during the quest, the sense of adventure and the gameplay. I'll talk about this so much in my post-quest thoughts. Gameplay oftentimes is an afterthought, but here I felt like there was just so much. You know, there were puzzles, there were environments, there were bosses, there were enemies and trash mobs, and the way they were introduced, it was like perfect, man. Rebecca is talking to Sigrika, they're talking about a game. You get to kind of play a version of this game with Rebecca, and that broke up some of the dialogue. And there were other moments like this too, where like you do certain things that break up the dialogue, that keep the momentum going. The momentum did slow down in a few different points, but there were some things to kind of bring it back and spring back into the active, action-packed kind of feel. And while we're on the subject of adventure, the way they used Somewhere was really cool, man. It's supposed to be a world that is fueled by dreams. And it really felt like a dream as you were playing through it. You know, you start off in Luke Hurston's secret laboratory, but it's not quite Luke Hurston's laboratory. And then you turn the corner and somehow end up in the dormitory for Star Torch Academy. You go through a door, you end up in a train in Night City. You exit the train, you're in the Solaskin network above Bjarter Woods. Like, it's such a dream-like kind of atmosphere. Like, just the level design is like a dream. And at this point of the quest, one of the interesting things is you meet up with Rebecca, and they did so much work to bring Rebecca to life. Rebecca is a very expressive character. They capture so much expressiveness, not just in their dialogue, but just in this character's facial expressions, in their animations and movements. Like, they did a really good job in capturing this character and making them feel like they're the character from Cyberpunk, all of that. And I briefly mentioned dialogue just now, but the dialogue of this quest was really interesting. You kind of see where Wuthering Waves writers wrote, and then you see where Cyberpunk writers wrote, just how the characters communicate and how they talk with each other. You know, you have the jargon-heavy fantasy, novel, poetry kind of dialogue versus the techno-jargon, straight-shooter dialogue. And what I mean by that is Wuthering Waves uses a lot of jargon, but it just feels like fantasy. Characters drag their words when they speak, and sometimes they speak in such a way where there's a lot of ambiguity in what they really mean. Whereas in Cyberpunk, you know, there's a lot of techno jargon, but they just say what they want to say and it's very direct. You know exactly what they mean and how they mean it. And I think about the most recent Wuthering Waves quest prior to this one, where there's Dinya, and Dinya is kind of dead, but Rover's like, no, I want to see her again. But it's confusing as to whether or not she's dead or not. And it's also confusing as to why Rover would even know this. You know what I mean? However, if this was written by Cyberpunk, they'd be like, no, she's dead. Like, it would be just straightforward. And so when I think about this dialogue, it kind of reminds me of rap versus rock, in that in rap, you know exactly what somebody is talking about. You know exactly what they mean. You know who they're talking about. You know where they're talking about. And in rock, things are kind of abstract. You know, the emotion is there. What they feel is present, is understood, but what they actually mean in detail isn't really explained. And of course, there's obviously exceptions to this, but it's kind of like, I'm sorry, Miss Jackson, I am for real, never meant to make your daughter cry, versus, and you're someone who knows someone who knows someone I once knew. Kind of like, I seen a light-skinned with his brains blown out at the same burger stand where hang out, versus, and the sun doesn't give light to the moon, assuming that the moon will owe it one. You know, like, if you look at those 4 different songs, and the 2 that are hip hop and the 2 that are rock, there's a very stark difference in terms of how they communicate what they want to say. And it's a really interesting mashup when you look at the dialogue between these 2 franchises fused together into one story. Yo, I gotta say, this collaboration was just phenomenal, man. And the music choice and music selection at certain points was really fitting. And they made you feel the nostalgia for the show. If you watched the show and you were a fan of the show, like, I just loved how it felt, just how it not only felt, but I loved how it just was a continuation of what you had already seen and already been a fan of. You know, if you were a fan of the show, but you just wanted to see a bit more, like, this quest fulfills that itch. And I don't know what story they're planning to tell in season 2, but if it is with Lucy, it kind of primes you to enjoy it even more. They kind of set it up where you're reminded of everything that has happened, while at the same time ready for some new adventure. Also, Adam Smasher, like, this collaboration is amazing. Earlier, I talked about design a little bit, but I noticed that, like, the design for this patch, Cyberpunk design, it fits so much with Wuthering Waves. Like, it was a perfect choice for a collaboration. It works so well together, man. It works so well together. The menus and the little animations for all the different actions that you do and the sound effects, it perfectly fits Wuthering Waves, but at the same time, it's a perfect match for Cyberpunk. I'm really enjoying this, man. And the characters, of course, the characters are badass. They're awesome. I enjoy playing them. I'm still learning how to play them and what to actually do with each one, but I love them, dude. It's awesome. But yeah, also too, I love how we can get the Sandevistan for Lucy through the echo skill. I mean, there's just so much, man. There's so much I enjoy about this. But anyways, Chooms, those are my thoughts. I'm looking forward to hearing what you guys have to say in the comments down below. Also, I was thinking about making a video about Lucy because there are some details in this quest that I feel like can be, I guess, better enhanced by knowing more about the character. And knowing more about her past, because she says, like, it's not much, but it's like little small things that she says and little small responses that she gives that knowing more about her backstory would give you a greater understanding and appreciation for why she responds the way she does. And so let me know if you guys are interested in seeing a Lucy video. But that's all I have for you guys today. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Waves.